Hey guys, it's Darwin here with my weekly Q&A to answer more of your questions. If you have a question for next week's Q&A, you can either leave it in the comment box below or send me a video question over to darwinonthetrail@yahoo.com, and then next week I'll answer as many as I possibly can. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this week's first question. How did you meet Snuggles? On the trail? So no, I didn't meet her on the trail. I actually met her when we were younger in preschool. We've been going to school together since we were little kids, and then in high school we were best friends and then eventually started dating. We kind of fell out a couple years after high school and then eventually started talking again, got back together, and as of next week we've been married 10 years, which is pretty amazing. I've known Snuggles my entire life. We've been through everything together: schooling, buying a house, getting rid of a house, traveling, and hiking the AT. Snuggles is my best friend, my best companion. And again, next week we'll be celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary. So another Snuggles question. During your hikes, did you and Snuggles ever split, or did you always stick together? I imagine it's hard to always get along being together 24/7 for 6 months straight. So, most of the time we did hike together. However, there were times where I have a much faster hiking pace, so I would actually hike quite a bit in front of her, and then we would meet up different times during the day. So to stop for water, to get a snack, to have lunch, or some days whenever we just really wanted to push it through, we would make a plan to meet at a certain shelter or a certain camp spot. But most of the times we hike together. Sometimes it's really hard when you're a couple hiking because everybody has their own hiking pace, so one person always has to either speed up or slow down. We didn't really want to screw with each other's hiking pace, so a lot of times we would just split up, meet up throughout the day, and it worked like that. In 2016 on the AT, we hiked every single day together. I actually slowed down my pace so I could hike with her more because there were some times in 15 where I wish we had been together to see certain things. So in 16, I made sure that we stayed together most the entire trail. Hey Darwin, what is the proper use of the term hiker trash? Who can say it and when is it offensive? So that is a really good question. I actually get that question a lot from people that I know, like here in town, because I have a big sticker on the back of the van that says hiker trash, and people are always asking me what the hell that actually means. Pretty much hiker trash can be defined as anyone that's doing a long distance hike. It's what we call ourselves. We are hiker trash. I believe it started more as a slander against hikers coming into town, so locals would call hikers hiker trash because they were dirty, they stank, they like to be loud and party, I'm sure, in some towns. But over the years, hikers kind of adapted it in calling each other hiker trash. There's been a lot of cases where I've met people outside of the trail. They've mentioned that they have hiked a trail, and instantly I call them hiker trash, and they get it. So it's definitely a thing that is accepted between hikers, but I think where it would be offensive is if you were in a town and some local called you hiker trash in kind of a negative or derogatory way. It's meant to be taken light and heartfelt, not in a negative way. So I would think that anytime anyone uses hiker trash in a negative way, being like, those damn hiker trash, that's when it's offensive. So yeah, again, if you like being out on the trail, if you spend a lot of time and it's all you think of, you love being dirty, love being stinky, love eating awful food, pumping out big miles, you're hiker trash, my friend. When do you decide to change and get new shoes? Is it when they start falling apart or when they get uncomfortable for you? Do you use insoles? And if so, what brands do you use? So I don't necessarily change my shoes out when they start falling apart, because if you're doing something like a through hike, they fall apart pretty quick. I've actually duct taped my shoes back together just to make sure I can get some more miles out of them. The big tall tale sign for me when a pair of shoes wears out is my feet start hurting. My feet get numb, they start getting tingly, I really start feeling the trail. I start feeling rocks, roots, the entire trail. I'm getting pressure points in my feet. That's when I know it's time to swap them out. So that is the biggest tall tale sign for me, is when my feet start hurting, when it's taking more of a toll on my feet or my knees. So as far as insoles, in 2015 and 2016, I used the Superfeet Flex. Really great insoles that Superfeet makes. They're not your traditional green or yellow, so they're not as hard, a little bit flexier. so they're really, really good with like running shoes. They're pretty affordable, they last a long time. That's what I like hiking in off of the shelf, but recently I've had somebody make me some custom insoles to my feet, and those are phenomenal. So I would either suggest checking out something like Superfeet, which is really popular. They make all different models and types for different arches, or getting some custom insoles, because those have really, really helped me over the years. I can't hike with regular insoles and shoes anymore. I used to be able to do it, and I guess over the years with all the knee problems that I've had and how your feet change, I just need insoles, so I definitely recommend using insoles, and I love them. I'm 15 years old and I plan on hiking the AT straight out of high school in 2020. My question is regarding to how you mentally prepared for the trail, or the best way to mentally prepare. So awesome question, Levi, and awesome that you plan on doing a thru hike. Good luck in that. I have a video here on YouTube on how to train for long distance trail where I talk about the mental aspect of it. I think the best way to get prepared for the mental aspect of it is tell yourself that you're going to be miserable, you're going to be hot, you're going to be cold, you're going to be wet, you're going to get eaten up by bugs. It's going to happen. You're going to be miserable, you're going to be exhausted, so that is the mental part. And the best way to do that is to get out and experience that stuff. Hike in the elements. When it's pouring down rain, put your pack on and go out and hike in it. When it's crazy cold and there's snow all over the ground, put your pack on and go out and hike in it. Sleep outside in a rainstorm in your tent for a couple of days and be prepared to deal with that day in, day out. That's the best way to get mentally prepared. So aside from that video, Snuggles has actually put together a mental prepared list. That's over on our website, so I'll leave a link in the description box below and you can go check that out. I'll also put a link over here in the corner of my video on how to train for a long distance hike, so check that out as well. Like I said, my main advice to give you to prepare is just get out and hike in those elements and become mentally tough on what you're gonna have to deal with. Good luck on planning your hike, man.
Hey Darwin, I had a question about clothes on the trail. It seems like you want to purchase some really good quality clothes for through hiking because you're going to be wearing it every day. And I was wondering if you had any insight onto how to purchase your through hiking attire, or if you had a certain brand or style that you would recommend, or just really any insights at all. I'd love to know. I'm looking to buy some really good quality stuff soon, so thanks so much. Can't wait to hear.
So obviously everyone has their own personal preference for the clothes that they wear when they do hiking, long distance hiking. Some people like shorts, some people like pants, long sleeve, short sleeve. The main brand of clothes that I used in 2015 and 2016 on the AT is actually the Nike Pro Combat line. I really, really love that stuff. The main reason I got into it was because I raced triathlon for 8 years, and that was the type of stuff that I trained in. So a lot of that stuff I already had. It was a little bit expensive, but that stuff lasts a really long time. It's meant to be sweat in every day. It's meant to be active, moving. And all of the stuff that I have had for years, I'm still using today. So as far as a brand preference, I would say check out some of that Nike Pro Combat stuff, but pretty much any type of active wear. You don't want any type of cotton. You want something that breathes good, maybe something that has a UPF rating in case you're going to be out hiking in the sun, something that wicks away moisture, and articles of clothing that are antimicrobial. That's why a lot of people use things like wool. If you're on a bit more of a budget, Snuggles actually picked up a handful of the articles that she hiked in at a Goodwill. So you know, a lot of times you can go to a Goodwill, look through the racks and find some donated activewear, some stuff that maybe some people had for a season, like some running shorts or some running shirts, and then use that. Anything that seems pretty quality made that's gonna last a long time, that you can be as active as possible in. Do you run into a lot of older hikers on the trail, say 50 years old or older? Yeah, Ron, I actually do run into a lot of older hikers on the trail. So on long distance trails like the AT, the PCT, or the CDT, you have two different types of people. Usually have some younger kids that are in between high school and college, or a bunch of people that are retired. So there are a lot of older cats out hiking long distance trails. In 2015, I hiked the first 1,300 miles of the trail with a guy named Rube. Rube was 60 years old when we started hiking, and most days he kicked my ass on the climbs, and I had to keep up with him. So there are a lot of older cats, and some pretty tough old cats at that, that are out hiking the trail. This year when I was out on the CDT, I met Toasted Toad, who is also in his late 50s, early 60s. And I've seen some people that are even older out hiking the trail. I've heard tale of people in their late 70s or even early 80s. So if you're thinking, am I too old to go out and do something like that? No, age is nothing but a number, man, so get out on the trail and hike. All right, guys, last question of the week. How did you pick your trail name? This is actually a topic I've been wanting to cover for a little bit. Max, I did not pick my trail name. I believe that you should let the trail pick your name or other hikers pick your name. I've noticed in the last year there are a lot of people that are setting off to do long distance trails that are picking their trail name. Now in 2013 and 2014, when I was researching hiking the Appalachian Trail, one of the amazing things that I found out was that when you're out there, the trail provides you with some sort of a name. Now, whether that's a name because of somebody you resemble, some action that you've done, something that you said, or some trait that another hiker picked up on, that's how you're supposed to get your trail name. So my trail name was given to me by a couple named Gruffalo and Giggs in 2015. It was given to me for a handful of reasons. Number one, the second night we were out, we had a huge discussion about different types of religions and what everyone believed in, which is usually faux pas and you're not supposed to talk about religion, but we just happened to get in this conversation about religion. The other reason is I was talking about how I used to race triathlon and talking about being super fit, so survival of the fittest. And number three, because of my beard. The next day they caught up to me on the trail and gave me the name Darwin. So I believe that you should let someone else give you a trail name, because that's kind of the magical thing about it, right? Like the trail provides you with this new identity. Some people hike a really long time without even having a trail name, but eventually the trail finds a way to provide it for them. And either a hiker gives it to them, somebody in a town, or some other way, but I don't believe you should give yourself a trail name. So that's everyone's own personal opinion of how they want to get their trail name. Again, you know, whenever I was researching the AT, I thought that was one of the amazing things about being out there, was earning this new identity. So to me, it's kind of a sacred thing, and I think you should earn your trail name. All right, guys, so if you want to ask a question for next week's Q&A, you can either leave it in the comment box below or send me a video question over to darwinonthetrail@yahoo.com, and then next week I'll answer as many as I possibly can. If you haven't got a chance yet, go over and check me out on Instagram. I'm posting a lot of new photos throughout the week, plus some photos of some past hikes, so go check that out if you haven't already. If you found any value in this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, guys, thanks for watching.